The Barghest of Yorkshire, a full haunted tale. The scholar's arrival. In the cold, wet autumn of 1883, a man arrived by train in Whitby, a coastal town crouched on the cliffs of Yorkshire like a secret waiting to be uncovered. His name was Edward Harrow, a Cambridge scholar with a passion for the arcane. He'd grown obsessed with tales of a spectral black dog called the Barghest, said to haunt the moors and portents death to all who cross its path. The locals were wary of Edward. At the Black Swan Inn, he asked the landlord about the beast. The man, pale and sunken-eyed, simply said, "You go wandering up the moors, you best not come back." Others spoke of glowing red eyes, claws that left no prints, and screams in the night. Edward smiled politely and took his notes, confident in his skepticism. He lodged in a cottage just outside of town, near the edge of the North York moors, where the wind howled like lost souls and the bracken whispered secrets to itself. There, he found a journal left by the previous tenant, a recluse named Samuel Withers, missing for 3 years. The final entry read, "It watches from the ridge again. Blacker than night. The third howl came yesterday. My sister died the next morning. It is no tale. It waits. It counts." 2. The first howl. Edward dismissed the journal as lunacy, though unease prickled at the back of his neck. That night, he ventured onto the moor. The sky was swollen with cloud, the air damp and metallic. Armed with only a lantern and a revolver, he passed Troller's Gill, a limestone gorge locals swore was cursed. That's when he heard it, the first howl, like smoke through the trees, low and drawn out. Not the cry of a fox, nor the bark of any dog. It was hollow, ancient, like the sound of the world forgetting your name. The wind died, not a leaf stirred. He turned, expecting to see an animal. Nothing, only the thick blackness between gnarled trees. He returned home with haste. In the morning, word came from town. A shepherd's daughter had been found dead in her bed. No wounds, no cause, just wide eyes staring at something no one else could see. 3. The second howl. The next evening, Edward read more of Withers' journal. The man had grown obsessed with numbers, with the 3 howls that marked the beast's hunt. First came the warning, second, the claim, third, the death. Edward returned to the moor, drawn by compulsion. Fog spilled across the ground in a silent tide. He crossed a rickety stone bridge, the same one Withers wrote about, where the Barghest was said to appear. Then it came, the second howl. This one was closer, louder. It came not from the distance, but from within the mist itself. Edward froze. He could feel something watching. Not merely an animal. Something intelligent, malicious. A presence older than language. He turned to run but saw a shape in the fog, massive, hunched, 4-legged. Eyes glowed like coals. Then it vanished. The next morning, Edward found claw marks on his door, burned into the wood as though made by fire. In Whitby, another death. A woman found drowned in her own bathtub, though the water was dry. The third howl. He tried to leave, packed his bags, rushed to the station, but the tracks were flooded. The telegraph lines were down. No carriages ran that day. He returned to his cottage. That night, thunder growled in the sky. Rain fell in sheets. Edward lit every lamp, every candle, his revolver shaking in his hand. Midnight struck. The third howl tore through the heavens, impossibly loud, as though the moors themselves were screaming. The door blew open, wind blasted through the room, and then silence. In the hallway, the Barghest stood, 9 feet long, hunched and steaming, fur as dark as shadow, with red eyes that pierced the soul. It didn't walk, it glided. The air turned cold, breath froze, and the flames died. Edward couldn't move. The beast opened its jaws, not to bite, but to speak. "You were warned." Then it vanished. They found him the next morning, seated at his desk, pen still in hand. He had no marks on him, but his heart had stopped. His journal, the final entry written in a trembling hand, 3 howls. "It watches. It knows your name, V." The legend continues. To this day, hikers and wanderers on the moors report sightings of a black dog with glowing red eyes. Always watching. Always silent. If you hear one howl, turn back. If you hear two, run. If you hear three, it's already too late. And in Whitby, when the fog rolls in and the wind falls still, locals still close their doors early and whisper a warning. Don't go walkin' where the Barghest walks. Don't go listenin' when the night talks.